What happened yesterday in Abuja, first of all, was the Occupy INEC protest led by the heavyweights in the political arena in Nigeria. Senator David Mark, Rauf Aregbesola, Rotimi Amechi, mostly people from the ADC. After that, they had a powerful meeting. They also had in attendance the governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde, and a few other people who felt like they want to have a common front ahead of 2027. So do you see this as a potential threat to the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, at the national level?
If I am to answer yes or no, I would say no. Well, or let me say yes, it's a threat. But sometimes threats don't go beyond threats.
Good morning and welcome to Daybreak Live. This is the big story. And this is the time to talk about big stories. It's your front line to conversation shaping Nigeria's political future. As the countdown to 2027 begins, new alliances are forming, old loyalties are shifting, and the battle lines are gradually being redrawn. Today, we examine a developing power play that could redefine the country's political landscape. But before then, Samson Balogo is my name. The conversation around a united opposition gained fresh momentum following the Occupy INEC protest in Abuja yesterday, where civil society groups, political actors, and democracy advocates gather at the headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, demanding transparency, electoral reforms, and credibility in future elections. The protest wasn't just symbolic. It brought together voices across party lines, including our opposition figures and reform-minded, as they were quoted, stakeholders who believed in the current system needs urgent fixing ahead of 2027. Shortly after, attention shifted to a high-level coalition meeting held in Abuja, and that was done at the residence of former Senate President, Senator David Mark. And reports has it that aggrieved political heavyweights, including Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, and other dissatisfied with internal party crisis, especially within the PDP, met to explore a possible alliance under the African Democratic Congress. The idea is quite simple, but complex. The execution is that building a united front strong enough to challenge the dominance of the ruling party. But Nigeria's political history raises a critical question. Can these powerful individuals truly put aside ambition and differences for a common goal? And to help us unpack and break this down, we are joined by Sam Nwoko, the deputy editor at the Nigerian Tribune. He joins us this morning with a wealth of experience when it comes to electoral monitoring and observation when it comes to vital decisions being made over the years in the political system in Nigeria. Thank you for joining us once again. Sam Nwoko, good to have you here.
Thank you. Good to be here. Good morning, viewers.
You have monitored quite a number of elections in the history of Nigeria, and you have been able to see how coalitions and alliances are formed. And most recently of them all was the G5 governors. And also we used to have the NPDP that moved and had alliance with the then progressives, the All Progressives Congress. And we also had a time when the Congress for Progressive Change, CPC, had to merge with the ACN at that time to form the APC we now have today. During that period, some were aggrieved. They were not happy with party dynamics, but they stayed there. And that's where you have the current president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He wasn't all happy with all the decisions made at the time, but he knew what he wanted to do, and he was patient within the party. And now today is the president of the country. But we have also seen alliances that did not last. they come in together as aggrieved party members, create a union, and then at the end of the day, they all find their separate ways and they are not on the same table. I will cite an instance of the G5 governors. Iyesom Wike, Seyi Makinde, Okeze Ikpeazu, you had Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, and also former governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom. They all came together. And today, I don't think any one of them still talks to another. They have gone their separate ways. That being said, Sam Woko, what happened yesterday in Abuja, first of all, was the Occupy INEC protest led by the heavyweights in the political arena in Nigeria. Senator David Mark, Rauf Aregbesola, Rotimi Amechi, mostly people from the ADC. And now, after that, they had a powerful meeting. They also had in attendance the governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde, and a few other people who felt like they want to have a common front ahead of 2027. So do you see this as a potential threat to the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, at the national level?
Once again, good morning and good morning, viewer. If I am to answer yes or no, I will say no. It is, well, or let me say yes, it's a threat. But sometimes threats don't go beyond threats. They have to make their threats seen. You know, I can see someone threatening, or I can hear you threatening, or I can read your threats, depending on the medium through which the threat is presented. However, if I see it as a threat to what the APC has already, the foundation it has laid, what the government is planning,
the
and
preparedness.
so on and so on. I mean, the preparedness of the APC in totality. If what they did yesterday was enough to remove them from office, well, I'll say for me, no, it's not enough, because it's coming a little bit late, and it's coming from the point of view of desperation. You know, so far it's still looking like a disjointed effort. They are trying to bring, you know, parties from here and there to form a whole, and it takes a lot. It takes, such things take time, such things take patience, such things take expertise, and of course endurance and sustainability. So I don't know if the time is enough to be able to build something solid enough to dislodge the APC as we have it today. So for me, the answer would be no.
Okay, you just spoke about the seriousness of this coalition. So what you saw, can you say it's a strategy or just another political posturing?
It's a strategy, because they appear, on the one hand, they appear serious, and on the other hand, they may not look at the vagaries, the issues surrounding this. So it is not something, I don't think it's frivolous, because it looks like nobody saw it coming. Let's even start from there. There was no time it was conjured publicly that such a meeting would happen. So that is on the one hand. On the other hand is the birthing of ADC itself. Not many people saw it coming. Not many, you know, when ADA was floated and the INEC gave its reasons, including the one that happened to the party by Seriake Dixon, which some of us, yeah, you know, we just said, okay. Then the ADC came. And when ADC came, it took everybody
by surprise,
including the ruling APC. So they are showing glimpses of political sagacity. They are showing glimpses of ruggedness, you know. But I don't know where this would lead us. Maybe it will detract from some of the things the APC had planned. But hey, in totality, will it be able to do what they want? I don't think so, as we speak today. But some things definitely will change. A lot of things, I think, going forward will change. Changes will take place. So I'm expecting that, yes.
So is it safe to say what we are seeing now might likely look like another round of familiar political talks?
Yeah, of course. Even when political opponents come together, it's still familiar political talks. Of course, you'll be surprised that Seyi Makinde is in the same room with Atiku Abubakar. You know, compared to what happened just before, less than 4 years ago in 2023. So that is what politics is for you. Now they have come together. G5, which stood solidly or strongly against Atiku Abubakar, is now part of the G5, is now aligning with Atiku Abubakar and forming an alliance, the type which we had in previous times in this country. So what I am saying is a situation in which these politicians will come together, present a candidate. The total, I mean, the goal is to ensure that there is a candidate on the ballot. On which party it is, that is what we do not know yet, and it's still looking like it's a tall order, and we hope they will get it.
So just before the powerful meeting that happened in Abuja at Senator David Mark's home, we saw a protest led by politicians and some civil society organizations. So would you say that was politically motivated, or it is truly a protest to show INEC what needs to be done ahead of 2027?
Now, the protest has been long in coming, because from what many people have, many on the political turf, by many I mean including politicians themselves, analysts, observers, lawyers, you know, many people have been weighing in on this issue, and it is not even a surprise that some people will be so angry as to go protesting. You know, they will take to the streets to say, INEC, you have not done this well. INEC, what you are doing is wrong. So I'm not surprised that there were a protest yesterday. That's on the one hand, on the part of politicians. On the part of some Nigerian people, a section of the general public, people are angry. Yes, you can't take it away from the people that they are angry. They don't like the turn of events in the country. There are those who are not happy with the security situation. There are those who are not happy with the economic situation. There are those who are not happy with the power situation, and so on and so forth. So people can leverage on this to express their grievances against the ruling party, because in all things you are going to point to the ruling party as the agent provocateur for some of these things. However, in overall consideration, you know that somebody, some people, someone, some group, some alliance has to take the lead in these things, and that is what the Atiku, Amechi, David Mark, and so on and so forth gave yesterday. How far can they go? That is what we are now going to see.
Some have argued that these are still the same old horses, nothing different. These are the people who were in this same party they are condemning just a few years, just about 2-3 years ago, for some a few months ago. And now you have come back to say the same political party you worked so hard to build, or maybe to win an election, is now the same party you are condemning now. So what's the difference between the new coalition front you are building and the party you just left? Isn't it the same people moving from one party to the other?
The difference is the goal. Each political dispensation is fraught. I use the word pointedly, purposefully. Is fraught with its own vagaries, with its own troubles, with its own goals, you know, focus, and so on and so forth. So now the new goal is get a credible somebody on the ballot. Who would it be? They don't know yet. That's one of the goals. The new goal is also that those who are aggrieved, who don't want the APC to run it alone and run Nigeria roughshod by so-called denying the opposition the opportunity to contest. Everybody is coming together to say, okay, we don't want APC to achieve this, and we also want to present a candidate. So on those two fronts, they are fighting to see how best they can get this thing resolved and get themselves on the ballot, considering the fact that INEC has taken some steps which points to the fact that if nothing is done, they are going to end up as in the waste basket with every effort they had, with all the efforts they had put in before now. So what brought them together? People who are in previous, previous opponents who are now teammates are brought together by goals. So that is how this thing, each new political dispensation comes with its own peculiarities, and this new peculiarity, before now, the front man of the G5 was Wiki.
Right.
Then solidly supported by our own Governor Seyi Makinde, Samuel Otom, who was still in power, Okezie Ikpeazu, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyan. All of them came together. They had a goal. The goal was to ensure that PDP had a certain candidate. But when Atiku won the presidential ticket of the party, they said no. The North had done it 8 years, so it should be the turn of the South. That was the goal. Now, the goal is different. And since the schism in the G5, it has remained different. And the unfortunate thing now is that some of the people in that G5 are either in a together with others, or they are completely cut out of things. And this is the new dispensation.
Okay, now, follow-up question to that is that some people back from that quick break. The show is still Daybreak Live, and this is the big story. I still have with me in the studio Sam Nwoko, with whom we have been making sense of yesterday's powerful meeting between some of the political gladiators who now found themselves in the opposition in Nigeria right now. And I was about to ask Sam Nwoko one very big question about the accusation that it is the voice of Esau, the voice of Jacob, the hand of Esau, that one way or the other, the presidency, I don't know, maybe the president has a hand in the misery that has befallen some of the political parties that are meant to be major political parties in Nigeria. I mean, opposition parties. Talk about the PDP, talk about the ADC itself, and it's becoming more and more of things that are happening too. But then someone mentioned a trend yesterday, and I want to talk about this trend. He said, Peter Obi, each party he goes to, there's a crisis. It was in the Labour Party, there was a crisis. while he was in the PDP, there was. He's in the ADC now, and then they now have a problem, a crisis on their hand. And also, the ADC as a political party, is there a chance that this crisis is solved before 2027 general elections? We have a very short time frame to the election.
We don't just have a very short time frame to the elections. The new electoral law has given a kind of a stifling condition for these parties to be able to turn themselves into what they hope will be the special purpose vehicle for which they went into some of these political parties. So I don't want to talk about the trend, but I want to talk about the general impression. The trend that every party P2B went to. No, you see, Labour Party, when it started having gaining ascendancy and popularity, was because P2B went there, and the Gen Z, the obedience, as also they call them, moved there and created a very, very, very mighty ripple in the political circle. So when 2023 ended with the way it ended, with all the accusations, and because a lot of people still don't believe that the elections were free and fair, when 2023 ended and we were gearing towards 2027, they knew, by they, I mean those who were jolted by what P2B did, knew that allowing him to gain more grounds will create a very huge problem for them in the political circle. So they have to do something about it, because this thing we are talking about is a war. And in war, all is fair. In politics, all is fair until the results are called. When a winner emerges, you now begin to look back to rebuild destroyed infrastructure. You begin to build bridges, you repair houses, and you begin to call people back to, So politics is war without a gun, more or less. So that is what is going on as far as I'm concerned. The fight is not just that certain people are kept away, properly kept away so as not to disrupt the flow of things. The fight is also that certain political parties will never get settled so as to do what they plan to do. So it is war, and it is being fought from all fronts. Somebody once asked if INEC is one of the tools used in the war. I mean, it's a war, and
every tool is necessary.
Every tool becomes handy. Every tool becomes necessary. Every tool becomes useful. But INEC is called independent. In all fairness and in all analysis, the INEC as independent. So those are some of the things. Then the accusation that the ruling party and perhaps the presidency is the one that is the hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob thing. Like I said, in politics, every tool is very necessary. This thing didn't start today. And when the accusations started, examples were cited. When examples were cited, people felt, okay, it may be that these people are whining even before the war starts in itself. So you do not rule out the fact that some people are using what they have to get what they want. One of the reasons why I think this thing might be true is the NDC. When NDC was about to be registered, they were told that their logo, according to Seriake Dixon, their logo is two fingers. They said their logo looks like the logo of the APC. That was the reason Seriake said INEC gave them. INEC said your logo looks like the broom. Two fingers look like the broom. So for this reason, they are not going to register them. They had to go to court. And they fought from the High Court till the Supreme Court, which now said, no, now, how can two fingers look like a broom? And they eventually got registered only recently. And when this was done, they went and became... So these parties themselves are formed as special purpose vehicles. They call them SPVs now. So as SPVs, they are getting ready and looking for people to admit.
Now come in.
So when people now come in, you now begin to hear that certain things were not done properly. Nobody expected what is happening in ADC. We know that when ADC was formed, there was nothing to point to Gombe coming up to say this or that. What we knew was that Okera Smusu, who was the national chairman of the party, along with the ESCO of the party, came, they addressed the press, they did all that we thought was supposed to be.
They resigned.
They resigned properly and said, look,
consider the party,
you know,
new leadership.
They did, and lawyers were there, very senior lawyers, on both sides and so on, and this agreement was signed. But hey, there will always be a loophole to explore by people who are watching you. So that is what they are going through now. Because one of the accusations Bolaji Abdullahi is saying is that this Gombe man could not afford even a lawyer, let alone a senior advocate. But now he has more than 1, 2, 3, 4 senior advocates who are writing letters and fighting his battles on his behalf. So where did the fund suddenly come from? And we do not know exactly what his job is. Same thing with the people who are following the guy from Abia State who addressed the press yesterday and said, you know, making it the third faction of the party. So where is he coming from? So when you look at
someone also came up and said she's also a factional leader of the APC.
So when that one came, they now said, okay, it's aura for aura. Aura for aura, but hey, look at the timing and look at the restrictions.
Who stands to lose more in this battle?
Well, of course, it is those who are contesting for offices. They are the ones who stand to lose more. They are the ones who know what they are pursuing. And for some of us who are just observers and who are doing analysis as we are trying to do now, we'll just be watching them, and they will definitely be dragging the country along. For now, everybody knows that governance has stopped, basically. In Oyo State, the governor has permanently or something close to permanently moved to Abuja. You know, same thing with the presidency. You notice that even if they are inaugurating projects now, even if they are working on anything, it is all to point to the campaigns to say, yes, we are doing this on your behalf. Recently, part of the things they listed as the achievements of the federal government is the loan they got from the historic visit of the president to England, where they say, okay, the money he got from there would be part of the things they will use to upgrade our ports and make the economy better and so on and so forth. Power minister, the back and forth is still going on. Everybody knows the power situation is not very good, so that they have kept quiet. And they told us that 3.3 trillion naira was paid, and we've been, the story has been running. And of course, the controversies notwithstanding, we all know that with that announcement, whether the Gencos got the money or not, it has already gone into the news. Some will be debating that. Some will be debating the fact that this money had been coming in stages like that, and we don't know which is which. So it's all politics now, and at the end of the day, who will be the loser? It is those who contest elections and who didn't get either the ticket or get to win.
So now let's talk about the coalition itself. There are likelihood of a different set of combinations when you look at the ADC as it stands. You have Rabi Musa Kwakonso, you have Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, you have Peter Obi, Rotimi Amechi, Rauf Aregbesola. Even though they are party men now, they are not contesting elective positions according to what's happening, including Senator David Mark. But there are big names in that building that would love to be on the ballot. But if that did not happen, if it doesn't go their way, maybe the combination eventually who's chosen to deputize you does not favor one of them. Would there likely be an internal implosion?
On the side of the coalition?
The ADC, yes.
Yeah, I mean, nothing is impossible in politics, like I said. Now we are looking at Kwankwaso and Obi. Everything from all indications is pointing to an alliance on that front. For me, one of the things I know they are trying to work out is also to see that they dislodge Atiku Abubakar from getting the ticket of the party. It is also all part of the plot.
So there are meetings after meetings.
Of course, there are always meetings after meetings.
Schemings, negotiations, permutations, combinations.
Definitely, it will continue until something happens. And what is that? Once someone gets the ticket, the next thing is for you to defend that ticket. And in defending the ticket, you may not be able to carry everybody along the way you had carried them when there was hope.
That they would also get the ticket.
You know, when there was hope on the table, everybody had it. But once hope is off the table and someone has it, by hope I mean being the flag bearer of the party, others will have to find their ways. It will not even be a surprise that some of the people who you think are working for ADC are also in a way working for other political parties to be able to propel that party through the barriers mounted by the ADC as an opposition. So, I mean, nothing is foreclosed in politics. It's just like security. You don't take anything for granted in security. Everything has to be taken into consideration. And once you do this, it doesn't mean there are no loopholes. They will still explore the loopholes and so on. But are you strong enough to stand for what is coming? That is what is going on now. And the ADC, like I said, yes, they are making efforts, but is what the APC is mounting now, is it strong enough to resist what is coming? I don't think so. I still maintain that. Okay,
now let's also look at oppositions, the history of oppositions in the country. Since the return of democracy in 1999, PDP was there for 16 years. And of course, that was when President Muhammadu Buhari took over from GEJ, His Excellency Goodluck Ebele Jonathan at that time. Now, the APC is moving towards the 12th year in office. And there might likely be an extension after the election to say, oh, we are also going for 16 years in office. So is this only about competition, about we want to match what you've done? Or the fact that Nigeria has seen so much opposition that can they actually believe that this is different to what we've been saying before?
Well, for me, you know, I started by saying that each political dispensation has its own peculiarities. The peculiarities of this current political dispensation is different from what had happened before now. You know, when we trace it from 1999, when we had APP, we had AD, and we had PDP. You know, in the Southwest here, it was a clean sweep for AD. You know, I was doing my NYSC then, so we had to wear our crests, our crested vest, to be able to do election duties and so on and so forth. And I know very well that everybody that came out to vote voted for Alliance for Democracy.
That was the era of
Olufalaye. And you know, AD had an alliance with APP to present Olufalaye. So it was Olufalaye against Olusegun Obasanjo. But the powers that be, those who formed the PDP, North, South, East, West, and so on, we are solidly behind Obasanjo at that time. And he won the election. And Nigerians were eager to leave the military era behind, even though the military tension had softened by that time by the way Abdulsalami Abubakar did his things. So we were in UI, we were students, and we saw that the tension had gone. So when the elections came, what people wanted was, let's just get... I mean, it was Peter Adeyemo that won from Merua, that won the Oyo South senatorial district that time. You know, it was Peter Adeyemo, but I wouldn't know if somebody from Merua would easily win the way he won in 1999. So all I'm trying to say is that people who voted to ensure that the military is done away with. After that time, our democracy began to evolve. Let me use the word. I almost said our democracy began to get wiser. As it grew, it got wiser. And by getting wiser, in 2003, there was a different dispensation. That was when the Obasanjo came up and did away with the I mean, he tried to form alliance to tell people that, look, this is my base, don't let me lose my base, and so on. And by that time, he had started having issues with his deputy, the vice president, who is Atiku Abubakar, and so on and so forth. So each dispensation comes with its own hue, it comes with its own tone, it comes with its own voice and its own peculiarities and colors and so on and so forth. So 99 was different, 2003 was different. By 2007, it had become a totally different thing entirely. People began to wonder if democracy was indeed what it needed to be, and so on. And that time we had begun to speak about homegrown democracy, and so on. By 2000 and I mean, after 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 2012, we had begun to lay foundations for what we have today. You know, Yaradua came, Goodluck Jonathan came. Goodluck Jonathan, when he came, gave us, you know, Yaradua and Jonathan. He was
more of a Democrat.
Yaradua and Jonathan gave us the best semblance of democracy in this country. They gave us that freedom, and it is on that freedom, you know, if there was no freedom, if there was no wherewithal, no space to operate, no space to be able to spread your wings, it would have been very difficult for APC to emerge. They would have done. That is why people who know, people who are seeing beyond what we ordinary people are seeing, that is why they are saying that the APC does not want an opposition in 2027. They have seen all this because, I mean, look at what is happening in the judiciary. The politicians are the ones who would initiate the crisis, and then they will involve the judiciary and also involve INEC. So it is the politicians that will be dragging the INEC
and then drag other people into it.
So when they suck them into these things, you overlook the politicians to begin to shout the name of INEC, you shout the name of judiciary and so on. Or is it not here that people are accusing Wike of building houses for judges, building law school, building this and that? To what end? They say it's for him to gain favors from the judiciary. It's an allegation, it's on the table, people are still debating it. The same thing now. INEC is on. Yesterday there was a protest which was tagged Occupy INEC. Why are they occupying INEC? Because they believe INEC is not doing what it's supposed to do, that INEC is not neutral, and so on and so forth. So it is the politicians that will create these scenarios. They will suck in INEC, they will suck in the judiciary, and even carry the populace along. So when you look at it in the final analysis, you will see that creating a different scenario is very, very easy because it's already in existence. And by that, it means that by 2027, which you are looking at, you are going to see something very, very different from all the noise that is going on
that we used to have. No, lastly, in 1 minute before we go, yesterday after the meeting, Governor Seyi Makinde was there, and news broke that Governor Seyi Makinde of the People's Democratic Party was at a meeting with some political heavyweights from the north and from the ADC. But then, the faction of Years of Wike, recognized by INEC as we speak, said after the meeting, dissociated themselves from the said meeting, that there is no coalition between the PDP. I mean, they are saying the PDP, not factional PDP now, that there is no coalition between the PDP and the ADC whatsoever. So they have not gone to meet anybody. So are they trying to discredit the governor of Oyo State, or they are trying to set the record straight that the party now belongs solely to their own faction?
It is both. Like I said, in war, all is fair in a war until the war comes to the round table. They have to find a way to discredit what they are doing. And what are they saying? It is not PDP. They are not saying it is a faction of the PDP, because they have not denied the fact that Seyi Makinde is a member of the PDP. They have not. That is on the one hand. On the other hand, they are also trying to discredit what they are doing. So it is not us, it is them. Who are the them?
They are still PDP.
Same PDP. So if we report that PDP has gone into an alliance with ADC, then it is for you in the PDP to begin to distill who and what has happened. So for me, as an individual, we are only looking at it from the broader perspective. But I want to believe that in the end, they are going to come up with something. They are going to come up with a kind of coalition, a basis for which they can throw a credible challenge in the general election. And that is what many of us are looking forward to see.
All right, thank you, Sam Nwoko, for joining us on the show this morning. It has been an eye-opening session with you.
Thank you.
Sam Nwoko is Deputy Editor of the Nigerian Tribune. Right, as the political chessboard ahead of 2027 continues to evolve, one thing stands clear. The stakes are high, and the margin for error is very slim. The Occupy INEC protest may have set the tone, but the real test lies in whether this emerging coalition can move from talks to tangible structure, from ambition to alignment. For Nigerians, this question goes beyond politics. It is about credibility, accountability, and the hope for a stronger democratic process. So, will this coalition hold, or will history repeat itself? That's the big story on Daybreak Live. And I am Samson Balogun. Up next is Trend Watch. Stay with us.